Harris, can you please sing us the podcast intro this week?
Who?
You,
Ah,
Harris.
um, sure. The podcast intro is happening now. I'm singing it. Wow. Let's start.
Nice.
That was amazing.
Thanks, guys.
Hello, I'm Captain Chaos, as I said last week. And after a waste snapped out half the Celtic Voyage, I've assembled a super team of superheroes. With me we have Paraxis
Hello.
and Quantum Queen,
Hello.
which no one will get because Paris cut that part from the podcast.
Very emo. That's me.
Alright, with me is Very Emo.
No, I'm Quantum Queen.
I'm just confused now. Yeah, just a heads up, this episode will be spoiler, possibly heavy. But, it's been 2 weeks, so you should have seen Avengers by now. At least 3 times.
Yeah, if you weren't sure what the spoilers were of, it's Avengers Endgame.
Yeah. Well, for anything, really.
Yeah, watch things, you idiots. Wait, we haven't talked about Paul Johnson, Cameron.
He's reading a book somewhere.
Oh, beautiful. I'm so glad.
Sorry, I need a drink.
God, I need a drink too.
Wow, thirsty Merc over here.
Nice.
Good band.
Were they really?
I don't even know.
Gotcha.
I couldn't even name one of their songs, to be honest.
Thirsty twerk.
Ugh.
Cut that.
I'm keeping that in.
I think that needs to be the bleep noise.
I think that needs to be the title for the episode.
No, it's Celtic Voyage Friendgame.
And then in brackets, thirsty twerk to
Yeah.
save your life.
Yep. Anyway. Yeah, Avengers Endgame, that's a little movie you may have heard of. Came out recently.
Yep.
Over 2 weeks ago, so you should have probably seen it by now.
And if you haven't, you won't see it anytime soon, so too bad.
Yeah. But if you really care about spoilers, leave now and never come back to this podcast because it's not for you.
Or come back once you've seen it.
Or that, maybe, I guess. Yeah, we probably shouldn't scare away like half of our 6 viewers, yeah. Please come back. I'll see Endgame with you. Actually, I had a dream about the podcast and Endgame. Basically, I think us 3 were there, maybe other people, and we all saw Endgame together, like real life, but it was a dream. And it's just how you'd imagine, like a Celtic Voyage watching the Endgame, where we talked for like half the movie, I think.
I feel like I did talk for half the movie. Like, I was in between 2 other people, and definitely I just like rotated between them and was like, what about this? But what about this? This is gonna happen. I bet this is gonna happen.
Supposed to get that out before the movie.
No, but like as things were happening, I was like, oh my god, but that means this, and this, and this.
Yeah, I was very much like that, because like we did predictions on a previous episode that hopefully didn't get cut,
Hopefully.
and like as things were starting off, I was realizing things that I'd thought of before. I'm like, oh, I should have mentioned this, or oh, if only I'd told someone this, I would have been correct. But I didn't think of it when talking to other people about it. So
So you just didn't mention it, and you were like, now I did think this, but I can't tell anybody that I did think this.
yeah, it's too late. I just had to accept that I'd screwed up.
It's okay. It's just a movie.
Just
Excuse me.
a movie.
Get out. Get
Alright,
out.
That's Vassie's review of Endgame. It was just a
Just-
movie.
It was just a movie. I'd see other movies before it, probably. That's a direct quote from Vassy.
I think you know my feelings on Endgame already.
We'll get to that soon, but I'll finish off my awesome dream.
Yes, continue.
Anyway, so there was this girl who was like, I was sitting next to at some point. I swear I got up and... Well, she's not really a dream girl because I started talking to her and like half an hour in the dream had passed, but the movie had only gone for 10 minutes, which was weird. But she's like, I'm not really enjoying this movie. And I was like, excuse me? And she's like, I don't understand any of it. Like, who are these characters? I'm like, why are you even here? And she's like, well, I saw that Vassie created a fan event for the Celtic Voyage fans to see Endgame. And I was like, what? And then she got up and left, and I woke up soon after. And it's like,
Who's
that was
this
a weird
mystery
dream.
fan of ours?
I don't know. Yeah, Endgame. That was a movie. What were your thoughts, Paris?
Cameron,
Just general thoughts.
general
That we'll
thoughts.
get out of the way quickly.
General thoughts. I really enjoyed it.
General thoughts.
General thoughts.
Oh my god, stop. It's like watching a bird in front of a mirror.
That's just us.
Yeah. So, is it better than Winter Soldier? That's a tough question, Cameron, that you just asked me.
Yeah, I definitely asked you. As Paris, I'm going to say no. Nothing beats Winter Soldier, the best movie on Earth.
It's so good.
That
Cameron.
sounds exactly like Paris.
Can I say they're tied?
I
Or will you just be like, no, you have to pick one over the
You
other?
have to pick one of them.
wasn't going to say it, but Vassie did, so...
I've
Well,
said
if
it.
I don't pick Endgame, you guys are gonna call me like a jerk or something.
Vassie's not going to pick Endgame.
I'm not gonna pick Endgame.
You're
She's
not?
going to pick Thor Ragnarok as her favourite.
Exactly.
Again.
We all
Is
know
it-
it is.
Is that still your favourite, Passy?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Cameron, but I just like Winter Soldier so much that I'm gonna still
know you-
have to put Endgame in close second.
Alright.
But that is still a huge compliment, you know. I'm going to talk a little bit about the runtime, which I already told you about, Cameron.
Alright.
This movie would be like a perfect 10 out of 10 for me, if not for like the 3-hour runtime. But I also understand that it needs to be 3 hours to tell the whole story.
Could it not have been split up like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, part 1 and part 2?
I feel like they've already done that, though. Because Infinity War was pretty much part 1 to this. I'd
Yeah,
say.
it was supposed to be Infinity War Part 1 and 2.
And then it's like Infinity War part 1, psych, here's Captain Marvel, Infinity War part 2.
Yeah.
So maybe they couldn't have split it up again.
I wouldn't say so. Also, if they split up this movie, it'd just be a massive fight, which would pretty much be what you want, right, Paris?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it'd just be like Part 1, getting people together, and then like people dealing with what happened. And then Part 2 is like the big fight that everyone wants to see. So it'd be like Part 2 much better than Part 1. But yeah, I'm so torn because like I know it has to be 3 hours, but like I didn't want to wait to get to where the story ended up. Like,
Yeah.
call me impatient, but I was just so keen.
Patient.
Thanks.
You're Tim Patient.
Tim Patient. Thanks, man.
Wow.
I felt that Infinity War took a while to get everyone together. And I think you might recall me on one of the episodes of the podcast saying, oh, I can't wait for Endgame because everyone's already together and stuff. And you guys were like, wait, no, they're not. And then I remembered, oh shit, they're totally not. And I was like,
Yeah.
ah, fuck, more seeing them like come together after a while, which can be cool. But I was just keen because I thought that was all done already. We could just get straight into it. But, you know, it took a while to build up and gain traction. But once it got to the middle and, like, the last half of the movie, I was like, really getting into it. And so it was almost, like, worth the waiting. It was like a payoff.
Yeah.
But, you know, I would have loved to get there just a little bit faster. And that's why it wasn't a perfect 10 for me. But like I said, I also understand it has to be that long in order to tell the whole story properly. So it's a bit of a paradox.
Yeah, are you criticizing it or are you praising it? Like, do you have a final opinion?
My final opinion is it's no Winter Soldier.
That sounds like
Typical.
Paris, that's fine.
Look, that movie is just like... I'm going to shut up about it because Like, I feel it's gotten to the point where I say it so much that it'll become, like, untrue or something. You know how you say, like, a word so much that it just, like, sounds weird?
Yeah.
And then it's like you've ruined it. You can never say that word again. So I'm going to shut up about Winter Soldier before I ruin that for myself. They're both very good movies, is all I'll say.
Alright.
How about you, Cameron? Your opinions, right or wrong?
Right.
Wrong.
Yeah. No, right. I already said it. Anyway, Endgame, favorite Marvel movie, possibly favorite movie of all time. But you know, I'm heavily biased, so
Saw that coming.
yeah. I mean, it's got everything. It's got everyone
That's
besides Quicksilver. Rip. First half was good. I really enjoyed it. I can understand why you say it's too long, but I know for people who don't want just a whole movie of them fighting Thanos, I think the rest is good part. It's its own kind of mini story. It's a good arc. I think it's a good place to bridge Infinity War and the final fight. It's like Infinity War left everyone on a down note, and then I'd say Act 1 is them gonna fight Thanos and losing. Well, not losing, but like Thanos is like, dude, I already destroyed the stones. Get out of here. And then everyone's like, oh shit, we lost. Like, we can't come back from this. And then the second act, I'd say, would be...
Scott coming back.
Yeah, I guess the Avengers assembling part 1, where it's like everyone who's alive coming together and then like setting up for Act 3. I know there's supposed to be like 3 acts in a movie.
Coming up with the time travel.
Yeah. Well, I'd say the time travel part is Act 3. And then Act 4 is right after the time travel where they've got the stones and then they start doing stuff and they snap everyone back and then Thanos is like, fuck that. And he comes out of time and starts fighting him.
I'd say that's a pretty good wrap up.
Can I just say...
Maybe.
Thank you. Fucking Nebula, if it wasn't for her, everything would have been fine. Right?
It's not Nebula's fault.
I know.
Yeah, how was she to know?
Just imagine if she got snapped. Then the plan would have been executed perfectly, but she just had to survive that.
Yeah. I'd say that she had to survive because she helped Tony out.
That is true. Tony, if she wasn't there, Tony might be dead. So, you know. Yeah.
I'd say it's very likely. I think this is a good movie for Nebula. Like, you finally see her.
She redeemed
not
herself,
being so,
which is good.
Yeah. She's not so emo, and she's, like, she was enjoying life for a bit. Like, especially the part at the start where you see her interacting with Tony, and Tony's like, you won. And she's like, I did. And, like, you know, it's a good movie for Nebula. So, how dare you? Something I will say, though, is that they really showed me after me bitching about how useless Black Widow is for 2 weeks. They're like, now she's going to be super useful and Cameron's going to look like an idiot. So I apologize, Black Widow, if you're listening. Oh, wait, too soon. You're out of here.
Oh my god.
Well, she didn't really do much at all.
She prevented Hawkeye from dying, which was enough for me.
Yeah, was it really?
Look, I was on the edge of my seat at that scene. I thought Hawkeye was gone.
Yeah. I was like looking over and I could see Cameron like gripping the armrests.
Look, let's be real. We all know I don't like Hawkeye.
Do you think it was better in this movie? I think it was really cool in this one.
No. He was very boyish, but he was just like...
Oh, you don't like him because it's a boy.
Yeah, that's true.
What about as the father?
No.
But yes, as soon as Black Widow died, I just thought of Cameron on the podcast saying, she's so bloody useless. I just could not stop thinking about that.
I think that part of the movie was probably the most dramatic for me as a Hawkeye fan. I was like, no, this is it. Hawkeye's dead. Like, I went to this movie expecting Tony to die.
Yeah.
I
Possibly
expected
Cap as well.
what happened to Cap. I'd heard theories about, and I was fairly sure it was going to happen.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that coming at all.
I thought Tony going out, like, I thought he'd go out the exact way he did, so I wasn't surprised at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to that part, like, even as they were heading to Vormir, I was like, well, when it's like revealed, it's like, this is where they're going. I was like,
you knew exactly what was going to happen.
I was like, oh
Yeah.
no, one of them's going to have to sacrifice the other. And I was like, Black Widow's got a movie coming out soon. Hawkeye's dead. And I was like,
Damn.
this is it. And then
You're like, no, I can't watch.
they're on the cliff, and then they're like fighting over it. Well, they're talking about it, and I was like, Hawkeye, just let her go. Just let her jump.
I just imagine you all like on the sidelines, like Red Skull. You're like, just let her jump, Clint. Just, it's fine, you know. She wants to do it, all right.
Hawkeye, you got so much to live for. It's like, who the hell are you? I'm like, it's just an interested third party.
Black Widow's like, don't I have a lot to live for? And you're like, no, not really. He's got a family.
He's a cool Avenger, unlike you.
Jeez.
But yeah, so I guess to that, and then they're talking about it, and I'm like, this is it. And then, what happens first? Black Widow takes
God, they
him
save
down.
each other so many times. I thought it was overdone the first time I saw it, but I seen the movie twice, and the second time I was like, that didn't feel as dragged on as the first time for some reason.
For me, it was like, it was dragging on, but it's like a good dragging on. It was like, what is going to happen? I was fully invested. I was like, Black Widow knocks Hawkeye down. I was like, oh yes, this is it. She's going. Then Hawkeye shoots an arrow and knocks her to the ground. I'm like, no, don't do it, Hawkeye.
No.
Then he jumps off the cliff. I'm like, this is it. Then she jumps off the cliff. I'm like, what the fuck? And then,
Like, yes.
yeah, but she jumped after him. I was like, oh, now they're both gonna die for it.
Oh, that's, yeah, no, now no one gets the stone. Red Skull
And
gets
she
it.
like hooked him to the side of the cliff, and I was like, yes, he's safe.
Yeah, it's a bit of a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, for me, maybe. Vasty was like, whoever dies, I don't care. They both suck.
I was like, wow, can someone just please die already? Honestly, this scene took too long.
So you felt it dragged on a bit too.
Yes, that scene just was like, it could have been a millisecond where she goes, well, that's me, bye, I love you, and up she goes.
Yeah.
Like, we all knew his family was coming back. He couldn't have died. He's a father. No, he couldn't have. He's a father. What about his family?
It's funny you say that because, like, the opposite happened in Avengers Age of Ultron, where his family's introduced and everyone's like, oh no, he's got a family and something to live for. This is it, he's dead. And, like, because usually once you're introduced to, like, the love interest, and it's like, this guy's got a family to live for, you're like, oh, well, this character's going to die then.
That's
But, like,
true.
in that scene, she literally, the whole movie was setting her up as having no one and being obsessed with unsnapping everybody. And all she does is sit around all day and she's checking in with what everybody else is doing
Eating
to
peanut
save the
butter
earth.
sandwiches.
That's it. But she literally isn't like anything. Whereas he's like, oh my god, my family, I must fight. Honestly, save my family's life. Like, this is what they like died for something then.
Yeah.
Whereas she was painted as such a loner.
People deal with grief in different ways.
Yeah, but who died of her family? Nobody.
All their friends, or
Yeah.
a ton of them.
Some of them. But yeah, like I said, I knew that Black Widow has a movie coming out, which is a prequel, confirmed. But I wasn't sure if it was
But
a
you
prequel
didn't know that
beforehand.
at the time.
So I was like,
yeah.
oh, she's going to survive. She's got a movie coming out. So that's why I was like, she might live. Like, Hawkeye's got a family, but she's got a movie. So I was like,
Movie outweighs family.
well, you'd think, but it didn't. And then, yeah.
Not this time.
Oh, that was the whole thing. I was hoping they wouldn't do the thing where it's like, Red Skull sees them fighting, and it's like, you know, you both love each other clearly, and you're fighting to protect something. Here, just have the Soul Stone.
Oh,
I thought it was-
why the fuck would he do that?
I thought it was going to cheap out or something, like, you know.
Me and everyone else would have been so fucking annoyed at
I would
that.
have been
I
annoyed
would
at
have
that.
literally shouted.
I would have been
Yeah,
like
I think I would have
Avengers.
just punched the ground.
I would have been like Avengers Endgame, not the best movie if that had happened.
Oh, I would have lost a whole chunk of rating and respect.
Yeah, because that's like the best part for me, or one of the best parts.
It's like we know that's how you get the stone. You have to sacrifice something you love.
Yeah,
You can't just change the rules now.
I thought it was going to be some change of the rules. Like, I was just trying to think about how they like get out of it. Basically, I was like, at that point, I was thinking of every single possibility. I'm like, she dies, he dies, Red Skull dies.
No one dies.
No one dies, and they just
Everyone dies.
everyone lives. Yeah, or both of them die, and
Someone comes in and like just tortures like Red Skull until he gives them the stone himself or some shit.
yeah. So
Anything. Well, I'm glad they like made one of them die. Like even if Hawkeye died, I would have been like
I would have been sad, obviously.
disappointed, but you know, at least someone died rather than no one dying.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, if he died, I would have accepted it. Like, it's a decent death, saving like the universe and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but like, obviously, it would have been sad, but it would have been better than just like, oh, you both want to sacrifice
Wow.
yourselves
you
over the other
guys.
person.
I'm so moved.
Yeah.
At the stone.
You've warmed my heart.
Because they're like on the mountain.
Yeah.
Man, you know, in such a cold, desolate place like this, I had no idea I could feel such warmth. Take the stone.
The Red Skull's heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Oh man. But you know, in a movie where they're fighting some like godly alien who wants to like destroy populations and stuff, you know, people have to die.
Yeah. So I'm glad that someone did, and I'm even more glad that it was Black Widow.
Yes.
Vassie.
Also, Vassie doesn't like Hawkeye, but she is also not familiar with like the comic book Hawkeye or the Earth's Mightiest Heroes Hawkeye, who's a lot better.
Yeah, which is definitely why I'm biased
But-
towards Hawkeye. But
Let me hear you up. None of those Hawkeyes exist in the Marvel movie universe,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter that I don't know him.
Hashtag not my Hawkeye.
that is true. But I think they've been getting closer to the classic Hawkeye in the
They got him wrong, but they've been getting better.
yeah.
It's like how it took him 3 tries with Spider-Man to finally get it like somewhat accurate to the Peter Parker
Controversial,
character.
but yeah.
Wait, which Spider-Man do you think they got it somewhat accurate?
She doesn't like Tom Holland.
Yeah, you don't like Tom Holland, but I like
Is that the baby? I hate him.
the baby.
He's not really a baby, but you know.
He's a baby. He's
Isn't he like our age?
disgusting.
It's like
No,
21.
he's rubbish.
That's not an age. But yeah.
That's a baby to me.
So why don't you like him? How about we dig into that?
He's rubbish. He's too needy. Spider-Man's not meant to be needy. Spider-Man's meant to be like
But Peter
on
Parker
it.
is.
No, yes. Peter
Well,
Parker's
not
hell
needy,
needy.
but nerdy. Nerdy, awkward, likes his gadgets and stuff.
Peter
Very
Parker-
sciencey.
Is always supposed to be like like he's a loser kind of who's like out of his depth everywhere. Like everyone
Yeah.
else like seems to know what they're doing.
He's pretty rubbish. Just at life.
Yeah. I mean, his life pretty much sucks in most comic
That's
books.
why he becomes Spider-Man. Here's the thing. Original Spider-Man, great. Fantastic. This Spider-Man,
Maguire.
hate. Absolutely hate. No. Disgusting. He's terrible.
The only one I don't like is fucking what's his name?
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
I
actor
thought
and
he
all.
was a good Spider-Man, so...
Controversial opinion. I agree with Vassie. That's not the
Really?
controversial opinion, but I agree that Andrew Garfield is the better Spider-Man. Not better than Tom Holland.
I think Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man.
I think in his own universe, he's the best Spider-Man. But as far as like someone who has to deal with another universe, well, the whole universe where there's people like Tony Stark and everyone, I think Tom Holland being Peter Parker is just really good. Like, he's this character who's out of his depth, which he's supposed to be. And he's nerdy and he's a geek and other things.
Do you not think they could have done that with Andrew Garfield, though?
But they didn't. In 2 movies, they kind of failed to do that.
Yeah. I think he's a good Spider-Man, but he was too cool for Peter Parker, I think.
Yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. I forget what I saw it on,
Yeah.
but I think it was literal trailers or whatever you call them. Oh man, haven't watched one of those in ages. Anyway, where they're like explaining the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie. And they're like, this is Peter Parker. He's like a cool, attractive, skateboarding nerd.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. I know, right?
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of
Tobey Maguire.
yeah.
No.
They captured it well with the whole, like, he's really interested in photography type thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was enough.
He's definitely like a creepy, annoying, nerdy guy, and I could I could see him as being Peter Parker 100%, but he just doesn't do Spider-Man for me.
Who's this?
Yeah, I agree, actually.
The first
Tobey
guy, Tobey
Maguire.
Maguire.
Ah, yeah, I can see that.
Like, he does a great
Good
Peter Parker, but he can't
not
flip.
great Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think what I always said was he's a good Peter Parker but a bad Spider-Man, whereas Andrew Garfield was a good Spider-Man but a bad Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in my opinion,
Tom Holland's
Tom
good at
Holland
both.
is like, yeah, good at both. He's a good.
That's my same opinion too.
He's got like
Good job.
his nerdy side as Peter Parker, and when he's Spider-Man, you can really get his like nervousness. Like in the comics, he makes jokes
Yeah.
during fights because he's nervous. Like making jokes is how he like brings to light the situation he's in. Like he's fighting
Yeah.
for his life, so it's like obviously hell nervous. So he makes jokes like just to try and make light of a bad situation, which I think Tom Holland does a very good job of.
I still don't like Tom Holland, and you won't change my opinion on it.
That's right.
That's
Your opinion's
fine.
wrong.
That's great. I also hate Iron
Well-
Man, so
Here we go.
take that with what you will.
You have to back that up though.
He's just very, like, dicky. I hate him.
That's his character, though.
No, that's a bad character.
See, I think he's a good character, but that doesn't mean that you enjoy him as a character. Like, people see characters for like different characters for different reasons. Like, I'm not a fan of Captain America. Like, I think his character's boring. I mean, he's been a bit
same.
cooler later in the movies, but
Hail Hydra.
I think nice Hail Hydra. I think his character's boring, especially like to start with. Like he's the patriot who's like the goody two shoes, and it's like you can't do this because that's against the rules or whatever. Whereas, so I think he's a very good character, and he's very good at portraying the character of someone who doesn't want to break the rules or anything.
But
But-
it's an annoying character trait.
Yeah, he's a character that I don't like, and I agree that. Well, I'd also say that Black Widow, a character I don't like.
Here we
She's
go.
she initially in the initial movies she was good at what she was. She was an assassin, like a badass, and like I think she portrayed that fairly well. Probably could have got a better person actually, but you know she did a good job in the originals. But like I still don't like her character
Yeah,
as much as others.
I see your point.
Tony Stark is a good character. He's a well-rounded character who, you know,
You don't like the wittiness, Vassie?
I don't like the what?
His wittiness?
No.
No.
He's not very witty, I don't think.
he's got his good parts and he's got his bad parts.
I just think it's a bit like rubbish how constantly, whatever problem they have, he's like, oh, yes, I'm a scientist, I can do these. And it's like, well, is that really like a superpower, that you're a scientist?
He doesn't really have superpowers. He's just a smart boy with money. He's just a waste.
For me, that's not a super.
I'd agree that like him figuring out all like the time travel stuff
Yeah.
is a bit much.
Just
maybe.
on the spot. Like that.
Yeah, like I think his character up till then was good, like perfect. Like he's an engineer, like that's what he is. So he's good at building stuff. He can make these state of the art electronic suits because that's what he's good at. Figuring out time travel maybe a bit much. I feel like it should have been a team project.
Yeah.
He
And should
brings
have
this,
taken longer.
Ant-Man is like talking with him. It's like, this is what I know and what I've learned. And then, but I also understand that the reason they made him do it is because like he's one of the core Avengers, so he has to be the one who solves the problem.
I don't think he should have been a core Avenger, though.
Yeah, I think for the MCU he did, just because the MCU started with him.
Yeah.
Not because they're like, Iron Man's going to be the start of this. He's going to be the core Avenger that everyone's going to know and love. They made an Iron Man movie. Everyone loved it, and then from there they started like Iron Man 2. They started hinting at things, and
Didn't they make it because everyone's kind of familiar with Iron Man?
Iron Man wasn't popular until the movie.
Really?
He was a B rank hero at best, from what I know.
Can't blame it.
Yeah, I mean, in the comics, he's probably more arrogant and has definitely got more flaws and stuff, but he was definitely not an A tier hero that you'd think of him as now.
I heard something like Stan Lee created the character Iron Man as like a character that he thought people would hate, like, because he's just a bit of an asshole and he's like rich and, you know, all this shit.
Yeah.
But then everyone just started to like love the character for some reason.
He made the character to be a dick, but not just for people to hate him, but more so that he can eventually show that even though he's a dick, he's still a good person.
Right.
Like, I think this was around the like wartime stuff. So he's like, people make weapons are bad and stuff, and it's like, so he made the dickish character.
Yeah.
It's like he was an alcoholic. He was a weapons manufacturer who profited off killing people, basically. And then he wanted to show how, even though this person was so bad and like in most people's eyes would be probably super irredeemable, he's still a good guy in the end.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good thing, and like I think they did it well.
Yeah. Like you were saying about characters with like annoying traits, and even though that's true to their character, it doesn't mean you have to like them. Like going back to that whole conversation, I feel that way about Captain America, as you were saying, except for, of course, Winter Soldier.
Oh my god.
That's the thing, though. Captain America's like, he's not a cool character in my opinion, but he's got the best solo movies.
Yeah, well, it was more so that, like, yeah, in the first one, he was kind of, yeah, like you said, the goody two-shoes. And also in the third one, he, like, was just really annoying, self-righteous, like. But in the second movie, it's like they kind of ditched all that and just made him a badass, like you guys said.
Badass.
Yeah, that was great.
Any other thoughts on the movie?
What does everyone think about what happened with Cap?
He should have passed the shield on to Bucky, and I don't care what anybody says. He should have.
Okay, let me talk to you about this.
Talk to me about it. I've seen a lot of
Hang
YouTube
on.
about it, and I still think he should have passed it to Bucky.
I was 100% Team Bucky. Even like when he passed the shield to Falcon, I was like, "You serious?" But upon like my third viewing of the movie, maybe my second actually, and actually thinking about it, I was like, you know, Bucky isn't at Captain America's status yet. Like the last movie before Infinity War, Bucky was compromised basically, and his assassin parts of him were used against the Avengers to tear them apart, and he was still brainwashed. They took him to Wakanda to get fixed and stuff, and you know he's fixed now. He's the good guy, but I don't think he's Captain America level yet. He's not this person who can symbolize freedom.
But would you not like to see him struggle with that?
Honestly, yes.
As a becoming Captain America?
Yeah, but if you had the choice to, like, pass on your shield to someone and, like, give the job to someone, would you choose the kind of slightly unstable guy who recently, you know, was turned against everyone? Or would you choose just, like, this guy who was also like a Marine type thing, and like knows what a sense of justice is.
I would choose the more interesting character, which is not who you
Why?
chose.
That's see. Look. I'm going to sound racist, but
Whoa!
like, if you don't like a black character, you're racist. But I don't find Falcon interesting.
No, I don't either. He's like for me, Hawkeye. He's the same.
God, all the Hawkeye hate.
I don't think he's that interesting as a character, and they haven't gone into him enough to make him interesting.
Yeah.
And I 100% think that Bucky is a more interesting character.
Yeah.
And I would love to see him as Cap, but I don't think Bucky's ready for it.
I agree.
But would that not make such a good movie?
It would. It would.
Or a good TV show.
Well,
They're making a Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show.
why? Just let Winter Soldier, Captain America be done with it.
What I hope happens, obviously, as a Bucky fan, is this be used to show Sam struggling with it and show why Bucky should also be the hero.
Do you think it will, though?
Hope so.
I don't think so, because I think it'd be wrong to pass it on straight from Falcon to Winter Soldier that fast. But I hope they do. Or at least hint at Bucky becoming Captain America. Or they both become Captain America at the end. 2 caps.
What, like Spider-Verse?
Yeah. Or like, they share the responsibility. They accept it.
Neither of them as a whole Captain America.
Yeah. So, favourite parts of Endgame?
You already know what mine is, but I guess I'll say it again for the...
Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Yeah, but nah. Of course, when Cap picks up Thor's hammer, I was just like so happy.
That was a cool moment, and I've heard a lot of people say it's their favourite moment.
Oh yeah,
Which
so
brings us to Vassie's favourite moment.
she liked when all the women showed up together and was like, "She's got help."
No, I
We'll
thought
talk about that in a bit.
that was very pointless to me, sidebar. But I kind of have like 2 that fight. And number 1 is what you just said with the hammer. I thought it was hilarious. Not like hilarious, but I really
Good.
enjoyed it. It was just very like, oh my
Yeah.
god. I'm so, I'm not shocked because you kind of suspected it, but like not having read any of the comics or knowing anything else, I was very glad that he could do it. And then the little joke where Thor is like, no, you've got the little one. That was fantastic. I loved. And then, so I suppose maybe like 3. And then the third one is when Captain America gets in the elevator and he's like leans forward and he's like,
That
"How
was good.
Hydra."
That's great.
That was good. That was like, I love it. Fantastic. But you know, I'm not big on fights in movies.
I can understand not liking fights. And when the fight started, even me, like Mr. Marvel, who loves like just seeing characters punch the shit out of each other, I was like, this seems a bit much. But then it evolved into like individuals fighting, individuals meeting up, and like I enjoyed it from then on. You know, this is Spider-Man like showing how scared he is, like activating instant kill and just being like surrounded in corpses of the Outriders. Then there's Tony meeting Peter again.
Yeah. Nice moment.
Yeah, so I think it's a cool battle, obviously, but I think it's more than just a battle, and that has a lot of interesting character moments.
I thought the battle was very forced and it was very draggy, and it was kind of like, and now these people appeared, and now these people appeared, and now these, and like you had to see absolutely everybody who was unsnapped appear.
Yeah.
Like, we get it. They're all there. They're all fighting. Everybody's fighting. And it's like, no, here's every single person that you need to see up close fighting. And I was like, okay, they're all fighting.
No, I don't think you...
Just
I
go
don't think you
for
get it. Look at all these characters.
They're like, but did you know this person was fighting? And I'm like, yeah, I get it. They were fighting.
Alright. There's Wong. Did you ever wonder what happened to Wong? There he is.
No, I didn't ever wonder what happened to him. Like, at that point, you've been in the cinema for that long. Like, I'm ready for Iron Man to die. Get him killed. Not an Iron Man fan.
All right, let's talk about all the women showing up.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Both of you sound like you wanted to talk about it.
Cam, you go first.
No, I think you should go first. 'Cause whatever I say would sound sexist otherwise.
Whatever I say is gonna be sexist too anyway.
Yeah, she'll be betraying her own kind, Cameron.
I didn't like the scene. I think it could have been done better.
I think they didn't need it.
Yeah, I agree.
What did they actually accomplish?
It showed women were powerful.
Yeah, but we saw we saw all those women when they were originally reintroduced into the battle. Like, what?
Didn't we just
Yeah.
have like a female superhero movie like literally just before Endgame?
All right. First off, they get one movie and
But
never allowed
she's
to be highlighted
literally
again.
the most powerful superhero out of the bunch there.
All right, yeah, that's the thing.
She is the epitome of power and powerful woman.
I was so glad when she was like, I can fight him. And then, like, she went for it and she couldn't do it. I was like, suck shit, you're not that strong.
You know what? Fucking Wanda MVP. They always go on about how Carol is the most powerful Avenger. But, you know, Scarlet Witch just being
Scarlet
like,
Witch is cooler.
yeah, she went toe-to-toe with Thanos as well and was the one who made him fall back on his plan. Like, they're like, oh shit, fuck, we're gonna die. Rain fire.
That's right.
Alright, so the powerful women scene was... It was stupid.
Pointless.
And
It
pointless.
was pointless.
They're like, how are you going to get that to the van? Like, Captain Marvel, how are you, the strongest Avenger, going to get that to the van? And then all these people show up and they're like, we'll get it to her. And, like, they were useless. She flew straight to it anyway.
So they didn't actually help like they said they would.
No, they didn't need to. We just saw recently that Carol flew through the
Ship.
giant ship.
Yeah.
And, like, sure, the other women fought off some beings, but, like, they wouldn't have done shit to Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
They would have, like, maybe thrown a punch and Captain Marvel would have flown through their stomach and just, like, killed them.
Let's face it though, it was two cool women characters and then just like the rest. Like, I don't even know the name of T'Challa's
Sister?
is it his sister? Yeah.
There's two people. There's his sister and
That's
his
right.
bodyguard.
Yeah, I know the actresses' names, but not the actual.
Alright, which one is it?
Letitia Wright and Danai Gurira, or however you say her last name.
I didn't know the second one.
She was in The Walking Dead. Or she might still be in it.
Ah.
I don't know. I stopped watching. Anyway, I don't know their character names. Pepper...
Shuri and Okoye or something like
That's
that.
right. Yeah, I guess Pepper's kind of cool now. But, like, apart from Captain Marvel and Scarlet Witch, it was like they were kind of just a bit useless.
Yeah. I understand the out-of-universe reason for it. It's a cool scene to show that women are powerful. Maybe not necessary because, you know, we already know that women are powerful because of Captain Marvel and Scarlet Witch. What I think would have been cooler is Captain Marvel flying the gauntlet over to the van and just having the other women's superheroes, like, fighting in the background or something. Like, it still shows...
I think that would have been a better way to show that she was, like, women are stronger.
Yeah, it's like... It shows that they're powerful still, but it's not as forced, which I think was...
It was very forced.
Yeah.
And I was watching it and I was like, look, this is just missing the mark.
Show how the others help, more than just, like, tell us that they're helpful.
Look how strong these women are. And then it's like, oh, but they couldn't do anything.
Yeah, they're useless, though, because Captain Marvel just flew the gauntlet there anyway.
It's like, look at these two powerful women and their friends.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think it was... I didn't find it as bad as you guys did. But it could have gone without.
I like the scene from a visual standpoint, like it's a picture of all these cool characters
It's a cool,
together.
like, hero action moment, I guess.
Yeah, but it's dumb because it makes no sense.
It was a bit forced just to kind of please the fans, especially the female fans.
But it didn't even please the female fans.
Or not you, obviously.
Well, I'm the only female fan that matters.
Wow. Okay.
Do you disagree with me? Am I not the fan?
I think other fans matter too, Vassie.
Wow.
Other females.
I'll make a note of that.
Sorry, Vassie.
What?
Other females matter as well.
Sorry, Vassie, you're not the only female that matters.
I think you can't say that to me as a man, Paris. I'm
Am I
sick of your
mansplaining right
mansplaining.
I'm trying to stick up for old women. And I'm labelled as a mansplainer.
Paris, there's no winning.
There is no winning.
I have to run things by Vassie just to make sure I'm not sexist.
Yeah, that's true.
Now I need a black friend. Make sure I'm not racist.
Oh.
I said I do have black friends.
I don't think you could say that.
I can. I've got a black friend. Cut that.
No.
Alright, we're getting shut down.
Okay, is that the end of the episode then? If we're shut down?
Thanks for joining in. That's where we end, unfortunately.
But before we end, I just want to say that my favourite moment was when all the Avengers came out of the portal.
Not when he said Avengers Assemble?
I think that's classified as still part of the moment.
I don't think so. That's two separate moments.
But it's like right after the other. Like, they'll come out and then they cuss to him. It's like, Avengers Assemble. Except Cooler.
Yeah, he's just like...
Except for Cooler.
He's like, Avengers... Assemble.
Alright, yeah, that was a bit disappointing. I wanted him to yell Assemble.
I was glad he didn't.
I wanted him to, like, deafen me with his yell. Just be like, Assemble! And I'm like, better go deaf. I'm like,
Kind
that
of
was
like
awesome.
in the Harry Potter Expecto Patronum voice.
Oh my god.
Exactly like that. But my problem with it... Alright, we're going to continue the podcast
All right.
slightly longer. Sorry, Vassie.
Sorry, listeners.
It's
So I have to talk
fine.
about this. But, like, he yells Avengers, and everyone's, like, at attention, and they're like, what, Cap? And he's like, Assemble.
What was
And
that?
they're like,
What did he say?
What? Sorry. So did you say something? It's like, Assemble. Speak up a bit.
Everyone next to him starts running, and everyone else is like, "What? What are we
Yeah.
doing, guys?"
It would have ruined the moment, obviously. But, like, having him be like, Avengers, whisper, like, Assemble, and then start running, and then watching everyone else just try to understand. They're like, oh, I guess we're running now.
I think that would have been hilarious and just what I needed.
Also, Thor with Mjolnir and Stormbreaker.
Breaker.
I think Breaker. That's the one.
Stormbreaker.
Wow, who's
Storm-
the real Marvel fan here?
Not Cameron.
You're a nerd. Yeah. But when he wields Stormbringer and Mjolnir, that was a really cool moment.
And me.
And, in my opinion, cooler than when Cap picks up Mjolnir. The whole movie... Sorry, Vassie. Slightly longer. The whole movie was like... We see Fat Thor. And I was worried. I was like... It's a really funny joke, but when it gets to the end, it's going to be like...
Not as serious.
Fat Thor fighting.
Yeah.
Which not serious. I'd look at him fighting Thanos and be like, this is just a joke. So I was worried. It's like, Fat Thor's gonna fight Thanos? That's gonna be disappointing.
Wow.
Then he walks out and he summons Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, and then he gets the cool knotted beard and his hair starts to
Very Viking-esque. That was cool.
yeah, he's like an old Norse
Norse
god
god.
at that point. And I was just like, that is awesome.
Yeah, it was.
As someone Thor's one of my favorite characters, and I was just like, that's awesome.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I'd say that's a good place to end.
Yeah, cut all the offensive things.
Quit while you're ahead.
Is that land I see saving me from this awkward conversation?
Haha.
Glad we
Goodbye.
defeated Oasis in the end. See you next time.
We defeated him through chaos.
Beautiful.
Goodbye.
Stay chaotic, fam.